मुख्यमंत्री जी ने पोलावरम प्रोजेक्ट को नेशनल प्रोजेक्ट डिक्लेयर करने के बाद में
The monsoon session standoff, opposition versus government on Pegasus snoopgate scandal. BJP ally drops the probe bomb.
टैपिंग की बात इतने दिनों से आ रही है, इस पर जरूर बात हो जानी चाहिए, चर्चा हो जानी चाहिए.
Nitish Kumar sides with the opposition, demands a probe in the Pegasus snoopgate scandal. Cracks in the Bihar alliance or a new opposition order forming. Top story on To The Point this evening.
Good evening, viewers. You're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Choudhary. There's so much happening right now in terms of politically that suggests that there is churning going on right now in the middle of the monsoon session, which in itself is completely held up, held to ransom by the opposition. The opposition has dug in its heels saying, discuss, probe before we let the House function. On the other hand, the government says nothing doing. But today, viewers, the government's own ally, Nitish Kumar, Chief Minister of BJP, has asked for a discussion and a probe. What does it all mean? And what are all these political developments taking place? Take a look.
2 weeks of parliament washout. Opposition unites behind the Pegasus snoopgate banner. Demands a probe and a discussion. Government refuses, digs in its heels.
grievances with the state government.
हम तो ये कह रहे हैं कि हम डिस्कशन को ले, इसके बाद में दूसरे इश्यू भी आएंगे.
वो जनता को गुमराह करने के लिए बोल रहे हैं और इस
It was an opposition versus government standoff till an NDA ally, JDU, BJP friend, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, openly sided with the opposition on Monday, demanding a probe in the Pegasus scandal.
टैपिंग की बात इतने दिनों से आ रही है, इस पर जरूर बात हो जानी चाहिए, चर्चा हो जानी चाहिए. इसमें तो पहला ही दिन पूछे हैं, तो इसलिए इन सब चीजों पर तो पूरे तौर पर एक एक बात को देख करके उचित कदम उठाना चाहिए, मेरी समझ से.
Cracks in an uneasy Bihar alliance or the beginning of a new opposition order before 2024. BJP's own ally siding with the opposition at a time when the heat is on the government over the Pegasus scandal has made things worse for the BJP. In midst of the parliament deadlock, Rahul Gandhi has now called leaders of the opposition parties for a breakfast meeting on the 3rd of August. The agenda, to whip up a common strategy for the remainder of the monsoon session.
आज पार्लियामेंट जो है वो खर्चा रुपया और चर्चा चवन्नी, और जिस तरह से तमाम इश्यूज हैं, तमाम मुद्दे हैं, उन मुद्दों पर जो है वो सरकार डिबेट के लिए, डिस्कशन के लिए तैयार है. लेकिन अब कोई आदमी तय करके बैठ जाए कि हमें जो है वो हिट विकेट होना है, हमें नो बॉल करना है, तो करते रहे. नो बॉल और हिट विकेट होते होते उनका बंटाधार हो ही रहा है.
ये सरकार खुद पैसा बर्बाद कर रहा था, हम क्या करें? ये हमारा हक है. पेगासस एक जासूसी कांड है, जिस जासूसी कांड में सारा हिंदुस्तान को सरकार अपने चपेट में लेना चाहते हैं. तो जहां सबके लिए खतरा बनते जा रहे हैं, वो मुद्दा हम अगर हम पहले चर्चा के लिए चाहिए थी, इसमें हमारा दोष क्या है?
In the backdrop of the parliament chaos, enough political developments are taking place, fueling rumours of a political churn running up to the elections 2024, with an eye on the more recent UP elections in the next 6 months. So what's cooking is the question. BJP ally Nitish Kumar wanting a Pegasus probe. Samajwadi Party's Mulayam and Akhilesh meeting RJD chief Lalu. Lalu meeting NCP chief Sharad Pawar recently. Nitish Kumar then meeting INLD's OP Chautala again very recently. Prashant Kishore's meetings with Congress and NCP chief Sharad Pawar. Mamta's 5-day Delhi visit to bolster opposition unity. The monsoon session has been on fire, and adding to that raging political inferno have been enough political developments suggesting a larger game plan that seems to go beyond 13th August when the monsoon session concludes. Bureau Report, India Today.
So what's cooking is something that we're going to pose to our panelists this evening, especially the JDU spokesperson. I have Sunil Singh from the JDU, I have Charu Pragya from the Bharatiya Janata Party and Adil Singh Boparoy from the Congress. Mr. Singh, how much of what Nitish Kumar said today was pure posturing, and why does he differ from your own ally at the centre, which says there's no need for a probe?
There is no ambiguity in what Honorable Nitish Kumar said. He said that when these kind of an allegation is made, somebody is alleging that their phone is being tapped, this thing should be cleared out and these things should be probed. He said so. But that way, we don't want to use it as a pretext for a parliament logjam. And so for discussion, yes, they should be thoroughly discussed and probed. And even I think BJP people are also saying they're ready for discussion. The opposition is not interested in coming to a conclusion. They are interested in wasting the resources, what is being spent on the parliament session. They are basically interested in taking a political mileage out of everything, of which we get nothing.
Okay.
And they are just playing a negative politics, and they are using Pegasus Rao as a pretext. Whatever thing they have to say, they should say it in the parliament.
But that's what they're asking. Okay, Sunil Singh, I just want to ask you one question before I go to the BJP spokesperson. The opposition says we want a discussion on Pegasus before anything else. Right or wrong? Is that what the JDU chief said today? Is that what Nitish Kumar said? He also said there should be a discussion. He also demanded a probe.
Look, the beauty of the democracy is that things are being discussed. And things should be discussed. There is no ambiguity about it. But I think BJP people are also talking about discussion, but they are not coming out of because opposition are hell-bent on disturbing parliament because they don't have any issues to talk about. They want to play a negative politics. The parliament session is very important. Many rupees are being spent on that, and they decide the policy and the direction of the nation. But they want to play a negative politics, taking a political mileage.
Mr. Singh, can I just confirm that with your counterpart from the BJP? Charu Pragya, in principle, does the government want a probe and a discussion? Yes or no? Is the government open for a probe or discussion? Because till now the indications seem to suggest from the government, no probe, no discussion.
Preeti, unfortunately, of course, the parliament is a place for discussion, for debate, but the way the opposition is behaving currently is not a discussion, not a debate. This logjam is costing our country money every single day. Already we have lost money to the tune of 130 crores, and all the opposition MPs have fallen short of remembering their responsibilities to their people. And it's unfortunate because the opposition cannot see a government which is working pro-India, which is working pro-people. They don't want bills to be introduced. They don't want the affairs and works of the houses to continue. And I, in fact, would like to remind them of their responsibilities. They are in parliament not to correct havoc. They're not in parliament to behave like teenagers who are so rowdy that they cannot be involved in a civil discussion. And they have reduced our parliament to that. That is unfortunate. They want to discuss a non-issue which has been
But your ally saying, okay, Sunil Singh, one second, Charu Pragya, I want to hold you on that. Because that is what the government stand is. Sunil Singh, the government, your ally, BJP says it's a non-issue blown out of proportion. Does the JDU believe that the Pegasus snoopgate is a non-issue being blown out of proportion? Your counterpart just said that. It's a non-issue. Is it a non-issue for the JDU? Yes or no, sir?
Preeti, the issue is that you cannot put the words into my mouth. The issue is that BJP spokesperson also said very clearly that it can be discussed and debated in the parliament. But if you want to,
So the BJP spokesperson also said it's a non-issue. Does the JDU believe? I'm asking you, I'm not putting any words. It's a question I ask you.
Issue or non-issue is not a question. The question is if somebody has got in its mind that their phone is being tapped. So I think these matters should be debated, discussed and probed, and so that doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani, the things will come clear. That is our viewpoint. If they feel it's a non-issue, it's their viewpoint. I mean, it's non-issue and non-issue or issue. It doesn't get this thing. If that, and the BJP spokesperson also very clearly said The opposition, if they want discussion, then they will discuss. But they don't want discussion inside the parliament.
Fair enough.
They don't want to face the parliament.
I'll come back to you. I just want to go. Can I just go to introduce our Congress spokesperson, and I'm coming right back to you. Adil Singh Boparoy, it is the opposition which is wasting time. It's you who don't want a discussion and therefore are wasting the time of the parliament and wasting the taxpayers' money.
Preeti, illegal surveillance marks the death knell of democracy in any country. The cost of illegal surveillance is that institutions are reduced in form and substance, and in effect, this paves the way for dictatorship. Now, the French cybersecurity agency has confirmed the revelations of Amnesty International. The Israeli government is raiding NSO offices. The Israeli parliament is conducting an inquiry into the affairs of the NSO. Why is Narendra Modi stonewalling a discussion? Number one. Number two, in the course of your debate, I urge you to put a very categorical question to Charu Pragya. Can she confirm or deny whether the government of India purchased the Pegasus spyware or not? The fact that for the past 2 weeks, the BJP has not been able to answer this simple question of whether they had contractual relations with NSO or not leaves much to be desired. Preeti, we are not speaking for the opposition today. We are speaking for the country. When your journalist friends, when your colleagues, when an election commissioner, when members of parliament, when civil society activists, when a victim of sexual abuse, when a sitting judge of the Supreme Court are put under this kind of surveillance.
Adil Singh Boparoy, before I go back to Charu Pragya, I want to ask you, give me 1 second. Adil, I want to ask you one question. Now, the spokesperson saying that the government's open for a debate. They've said so now. It is you guys who are only stalling time and wasting our money, taxpayers' money. That is what the BJP spokesperson said.
Preeti, that response is utter hogwash. We are asking for a structured discussion on this issue. Let the BJP spokesperson to begin with answer whether the government of India purchased Pegasus spyware or not. Let's at least get an answer to this question. How difficult is it to answer? After all, it's taxpayers' money. You and I pay income tax. The government of India needs to respond whether they paid money out of the public treasury for purchase of this spyware or not. Let's get an answer.
Okay, I want to go back to Charu Pragya. She's been wanting to come in. She's been patient enough. Ms. Pragya, go ahead. Have you say?
Preeti, you know, the honest truth is that the opposition has allowed the parliament to function for mere 12 hours. 12 hours in more than a week. 12 hours? Is that how you want to be treating the taxpayers' money that you keep going on and on about, Adil? Secondly, this is a time where you're not supposed to be creating ruckus. You are supposed to be asking questions and inviting a debate. You are debating in parliament. Instead, you're creating a ruckus. Learn to differentiate between the two things, and there lies the problem, Preeti. Therein lies the problem, because our opposition is not interested in constructive working. Our opposition is not interested in civilized questions and answers and forms of debate. All they want to do is waste taxpayers' money, be irresponsible as policy makers, and sit on these dharna-like situations and continue.
Madam, I just, it's a little, right now, this language is a little rich coming from you. I'll tell you why. We'll go back to 2012, and from there on, there's an entire chronology of Mr. Jaitley, Ms. Sushma Swaraj, who on the floor of the parliament have said stalling parliament is a form of protest and a form of democracy. I don't want to go into those quotes.
Let
Ms. Pragya, Charu Pragya continue. I'll go back to you, Adil, and I'll go across to Mr. Singh then. Go ahead.
So, Preeti, whatever happened in 2012 or 13 or even 14, the fact is today, every single year, we are supposed to be progressive as a democracy. We are supposed to be ensuring that every single penny that we put in to run our parliament effectively is utilized, because we have bills to pass. Like I said, we have policy making to do. And if somebody in the past has taken a certain form of sitting down for a dharna, literally, why can't we get over it? This is New India. New India has many more.
Adil, New India, but Adil will say, wouldn't a New India also order a probe when the own country where NSO is there has ordered? Israel has ordered a probe. France has asked for a probe. Shouldn't India be doing so? Should we be joining the league of countries like Saudi Arabia, Rwanda? Yes, go ahead, Adil.
Preeti, let me demonstrate their hypocrisy and contradiction. The government officers, officials of the Ministry of IT and of Home Ministry did not even appear before the Standing Committee of IT, which is headed by Mr. Shashi Tharoor. This is their bona fide and sincerity. Their members boycotted the Standing Committee of IT. This is their bona fide. Number two, what is progressive? Is hacking progressive? Is hacking into the phone of a victim of sexual abuse progressive? Is hacking into the phone of a judge of the Supreme Court progressive? Is hacking into the phone of a distinguished defense journalist?
Ma'am, I'll come to you. Let him complete. Ms. Pragya, let him complete. Let him complete. I promise I'll come to you for a rebuttal. Go ahead, Adil. Make your point.
Our democracy is at a crossroad. It is not about the Congress and the BJP. Narendra Modi and Amit Shah will reduce this country into rubble. They've already reduced all institutions into rubble. There is no other word
to Indira Gandhi's way of functioning.
Okay, I want to bring in Mr. Okay, Sunil Singh, I want to bring you in. Okay, I'll come to you. I promise I'll come to you. Ms. Pragya, I will come to you. I just want to go to Mr. Singh. Mr. Singh, I want to come back to that question again. Where does the JDU stand? You leave alone the opposition. Where does the JDU stand? Does the JDU want a probe in Pegasus? Yes, sir, or no? Does the JDU want a discussion on the floor of the House? Yes or no? Does the JDU feel this entire issue is being blown up? Which one of the three is it?
What Honorable Nitish Kumar has unambiguously said that if the allegation of this kind comes, it should be discussed and probed. But that doesn't mean, in democracy, there are 101 ways of protesting. It doesn't mean that you ransack trains, ransack bus, stop it from working, stop the parliament from functioning. I mean, that is not way of doing things. Because as a person, if coming from the Congress, Congress has got so negative-minded leadership that that the top leadership tweets that where is the vaccine when vaccine is there is no dearth of it. I mean, this kind of irresponsible statement.
All right, okay, the fact is, okay, it's not about the opposition, sir. But in principle, the JDU, one second. I want to go back to Ms. Pragya. In principle, the JDU believes very clearly that there should be a probe, there should be a discussion, something which its ally does not believe. Charu Pragya, go ahead. You wanted to come in.
So, Preeti, I respectfully will accept their opinion, and that is fine, because they are not saying bring the entire parliament functioning to a standstill. They are asking for a discussion, they are asking for a debate, and that is to be respected. See, everything that Adil has been saying is without proof. They have no proof. They have no single link or evidence which connects BJP or our government to Pegasus. There is nothing. In fact, the company which owns Pegasus, NSO has already said that they are considering a defamation suit.
Okay.
So, like I said, you know, here are people who are trying to create a non-issue.
Okay, 10 seconds.
Parliament functioning.
Adil, 10 seconds. Unsubstantiated charges, and I'm closing the show.
Let the BJP respond whether they purchase Pegasus spyware or not. A yes and a no question. Did government of India purchase Pegasus or not? She can beat about the bush. Can she answer the simple question?
No, so Adil, are you trying to say that every single functioning of the Indian government is to be known to common people like you and me?
Appreciate. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you both short.